Deep within the tangled bureaucracy of government, past the endless beige hallways and windowless offices, there's a door. It's a door with more locks than Fort Knox and enough warning signs to make a safety inspector faint. Behind this door lies a world stranger than fiction. This is where top secret meets utterly ridiculous. This is the world of wacky defense strategies. Forget your nuclear bunkers and stealth bombers. Imagine, if you will, a world where soldiers train on jungle gyms, their faces painted with clown makeup. Picture a world where the first line of defense against enemy tanks is a squadron of remote-controlled pigeons. Hard to believe? Truth, as they say, is often stranger than fiction. Governments around the world have a long, colorful history of exploring some truly outlandish defense strategies. From weaponized dolphins to explosives disguised as bat droppings, the line between ingenuity and insanity gets blurry. But hey, who are we to judge? Maybe laughter really is the best medicine even when it comes to matters of national security. Let's take a peek behind the curtain and explore this world of the weird and wonderful. Our first stop takes us back to the early days of the Cold War, a time of paranoia and suspicion. The Americans, always eager to outdo the Soviets, embarked on a series of, shall we say, unconventional experiments. One such project involved our primate cousins, monkeys. The idea was simple: train monkeys to pilot reconnaissance missions. These furry fighter pilots would be strapped into miniature cockpits, taught to manipulate controls, and sent soaring over enemy territory. The monkeys, for their part, probably just wanted some extra bananas. The project, as you might imagine, faced some challenges. Turns out training monkeys to fly planes is a bit more complicated than teaching them to peel a banana. The primates, prone to distraction and the occasional temper tantrum, weren't exactly cut out for the pressures of aerial combat. The dream of a monkey air force, sadly, never took flight. But the story of the monkey pilots is just the tip of the iceberg. It highlights the lengths to which governments will go in the name of security, and the often hilarious results when ambition outpaces common sense. So buckle up, folks, because it's going to be a bumpy ride through the strange world of defense gone delightfully wrong. Next up, we journey to a land where defense strategy meets childhood nostalgia, the playground. Yes, you read that right. Some military minds have envisioned a world where playgrounds aren't just for kids anymore. Imagine this: a squadron of enemy tanks rumbles towards the border, poised to wreak havoc. But wait, standing between them and their target is a playground? Swings sway menacingly, seesaws lie in wait, and a jungle gym looms like a metal spiderweb. The idea, however outlandish it may seem, has a certain logic. Playgrounds, with their uneven terrain and unpredictable obstacles, could theoretically throw off enemy formations and disrupt their advance. Of course, the practicality of using a playground as a military installation is debatable at best. Would a slide really stop a tank? Would a swing set bring down a helicopter? Probably not. But hey, at least the soldiers would have a fun place to hang out while waiting for the inevitable. Remember those duck and cover drills from back in the day? Well, some folks took the cover part to a whole new level. Enter the giant chicken suit. Yes, you read that right. In the event of a nuclear attack, some believed the best course of action was to don a massive, feathery costume resembling our fine feathered barnyard friends. The logic? Well, it's a bit thin, but the idea was that the suit would somehow provide insulation from radiation. Now, we all know that hiding under your desk during a nuclear blast is about as effective as using a napkin to shield yourself from a hurricane. But a giant chicken suit? That's just next-level wishful thinking. The image of panicked citizens scrambling to squeeze into oversized poultry attire as the mushroom cloud looms is certainly a humorous one. But it's also a reminder of the very real fear that gripped the world during the Cold War, a fear that sometimes manifested in the most bizarre and comical ways. Section 5. Acoustic Kitty, when the CIA tried to make a spy cat. Let's be honest, who hasn't looked at their feline companion lounging in a sunbeam and thought, you'd make a great spy? Well, it turns out, someone at the CIA had that very thought back in the 1960s. Operation Acoustic Kitty, as it was known, was a top-secret and utterly bonkers attempt to turn our furry friends into furry little secret agents. The plan involved surgically implanting microphones and transmitters inside cats, essentially turning them into living, purring surveillance devices. Imagine a cat sauntering into a top-secret meeting, completely unnoticed, and transmitting every word back to CIA headquarters. The reality, however, proved a bit more chaotic. Cats, as any cat owner knows, are not particularly renowned for their obedience. They're more interested in napping, chasing laser pointers, and knocking things off shelves than, say, engaging in international espionage. The first and last mission for Acoustic Kitty involved sending the feline agent to eavesdrop on two men in a park. The mission was a colossal failure. The cat, distracted by something far more interesting, probably a squirrel, was promptly run over by a taxi. So much for feline espionage. Section 6, Project Pigeon Guided Missile Birds. Before drones ruled the skies, there were pigeons? Believe it or not, these feathered city dwellers were once considered for a very important role guiding missiles. During World War II, behaviorist B.F. Skinner, a man who apparently had a thing for training animals, came up with Project Pigeon. The idea was to train pigeons to peck at images of enemy targets displayed on a screen inside a missile. These pecks would then adjust the missile's flight path, steering it towards its intended target. Now, as absurd as this sounds, it actually kind of worked. Pigeons, it turns out, are surprisingly good at recognizing patterns and pecking at things. They could differentiate between ships and buildings, even in blurry images. However, the project was ultimately scrapped. The military, perhaps skeptical of putting their faith in the navigational skills of a bird, opted for more traditional, and less feathered, guidance systems. Section 7. The Gay Bomb. Love not war, but maybe both. In the annals of bizarre military projects, the Gay Bomb stands out as particularly, well, colorful. In the 1990s, the US military reportedly considered developing a non-lethal chemical weapon that would make enemy soldiers irresistibly attracted to each other. The idea was that this love bomb, as it was also known, would render enemy troops too busy smooching to engage in combat. Imagine a battlefield where soldiers are more interested in exchanging love letters than bullets. Needless to say, the concept of a gay bomb was met with widespread ridicule and condemnation. Critics argued that it was not only impractical, but also deeply offensive and homophobic. The project, thankfully, never made it past the conceptual stage. The gay bomb, while ultimately a footnote in the history of wacky defense ideas, serves as a stark reminder that sometimes the line between innovation and insensitivity can get awfully blurry. Section 8, Telepathic Tanks, exploring the paranormal frontlines. If you thought weaponized pigeons were strange, buckle up, because we're about to enter the world of psychic warfare where governments explored the potential of ESP, telekinesis, and other paranormal phenomena. Imagine a world where soldiers communicate telepathically, tanks are controlled with the power of the mind, and the enemy's plans are thwarted before they even have them. Sounds like something out of a science fiction movie, right? Well, some believe these fantastical abilities could be the key to winning wars. During the Cold War, both the United States and the Soviet Union poured resources into researching psychic phenomena. They conducted experiments, recruited psychics, and even tried to train soldiers to move objects with their minds. The results, as you might expect, were inconclusive at best. While some individuals claimed to possess extraordinary abilities, proving their existence under controlled conditions was another matter entirely. The dream of a psychic army, much like the telepathic tank, remained firmly in the realm of fantasy. Section 9. Conclusion. Does nonsense equal defense? So, there you have it. A glimpse into the strange and often hilarious world of wacky defense strategies. From monkey pilots to love bombs, we've explored the outer limits of military imagination, where ingenuity collides head-on with absurdity. But amidst all the laughter, these stories raise a thought-provoking question. Why? Why do governments spend time and resources on such seemingly outlandish ideas? Perhaps it's the relentless pursuit of an edge, the desperate search for the next game-changing weapon. Or maybe it's simply a reflection of the human capacity for creativity, even when applied to the deadly serious business of war. Whatever the reason, one thing's for sure. The world of defense is rarely dull. And while some of these ideas might seem ridiculous, they offer a fascinating glimpse into the minds of those tasked with protecting us, one wacky experiment at a time.